A quiet collapse is unfolding on store shelves, and the silence is deafening. For weeks, I've been piecing together a disturbing puzzle from freight reports and internal supply documents. The picture they paint is grim. By December 15th, 2025, certain essential grocery items will have vanished from circulation, long before any official warning is sounded. I'm about to reveal 6 products you must secure immediately. This isn't theory. It's what industry insiders are whispering about behind closed doors. Pay close attention, because what you learn about item number 4 is a truth that is being deliberately concealed from you. The window to act is closing. 1. The silent lifeline, hermetically sealed hydration. When the grid goes dark and the silence of a collapsed infrastructure settles in, the first casualty is never the food in your pantry. It is the water in your pipes. We cling to the illusion that the faucet will always flow, that clear, clean water is a birthright rather than a fragile utility maintained by a crumbling system. But history, from the frozen pipes of Texas to the contaminated taps of Baltimore, whispers a different truth. You can survive weeks without a single calorie, but without water, the clock starts ticking towards a grim end in mere days. This is why long-term water storage is not just a precaution. It is the absolute bedrock of survival. Yet most people are making a fatal error in their preparations. They stack cases of standard bottled water in their garages, unaware that the plastic is a ticking time bomb. Within 12 to 18 months, standard polyethylene terephthalate bottles begin to degrade, leaching invisible chemicals into the very fluid meant to save you. I learned this lesson in the most visceral way imaginable, cracking open a safety supply only to be met with the taste of warm plastic soup. It was undrinkable. It was a failure of preparation that, in a real crisis, would have been a death sentence. The solution lies in escaping the plastic trap entirely. The only true security comes from water stored in aluminum-sealed, oxygen-free containers. Technology borrowed from aerospace logistics to ensure stability for decades, not months. Brands utilizing this sterilization process offer shelf lives of 25 to 30 years, impervious to the heat of summer or the biting cold of winter. This is water you buy once and forget until the world falls apart. The urgency cannot be overstated. Insider reports from supply chain logistics suggest that demand for these specific long-life water solutions has already spiked by 400%. Retailers are quietly tightening bulk orders, a silent rationing before the panic hits the mainstream. When the taps run dry, water ceases to be a utility and becomes a currency. We saw this in Houston, where neighbors traded premium alcohol for mere gallons of water. It is the great equalizer. Wealth implies nothing when you are dehydrated. The University of Michigan suggests a minimum of 1 gallon per person per day for drinking and basic hygiene, a number that skyrockets if illness or stress sets in. Do not wait until the shelves are bare. Secure your hydration in dark, cool corners of your home. Now, because when the system breaks, water will be the first ghost to haunt your empty home. 2. The phantom calorie. Shelf-stable bioavailability. If water is the blood of survival, protein is its muscle, and it is the first nutritional category to vanish into the ether when supply chains fracture. While the masses panic buy bread and pasta, empty carbohydrates that offer fleeting comfort, the dense, life-sustaining proteins disappear from shelves in silence. I witnessed this desolation firsthand in 2020. Meat departments turned into barren wastelands overnight. Those who waited even 2 days too long were left feeding their families scraps. But the danger goes deeper than empty stomachs. Under the crushing weight of a crisis, your body's demand for protein does not shrink, it expands. Stress is a metabolic furnace. Research confirms that during prolonged periods of high stress, the human body requires significantly more protein to maintain cognitive function, immune health, and muscle integrity. Trying to navigate the end of the world on crackers and canned corn is a recipe for rapid physical and mental deterioration. You need sustenance that stays fighting fit even when the refrigerator hums its last breath. Forget the cans of tuna that line every amateur prepper's shelf. They are a nutritional dead end compared to the true king of emergency protein: canned chicken. It offers superior density per dollar, palatable cold or hot, and integrates seamlessly into meals without the metallic fatigue of fish. Yet, the true secrets lie in what the experts hoard while the public sleeps. Shelf-stable tofu, vacuum-sealed and enduring for months without refrigeration, is a powerhouse of protein that few consider. It remains one of the most underrated assets in a survival pantry, overlooked by the masses, but prized by those who know that diversity in diet is key to psychological survival. For a lighter, more versatile option, dehydrated bean flakes offer a complete amino acid profile when fortified, cooking in minutes with minimal water usage. And perhaps the most critical yet invisible tool is emergency-grade protein isolate. This is not the vanity powder of gym-goers, but a survival-formulated nutrient source with a multi-year shelf life. It requires no cooking, no fuel, and no preparation, just water. In a scenario where cooking smells might attract unwanted attention, a shaker cup of protein is a silent savior. Supply chain insiders warn that current just-in-time inventory systems mean that if trucks stop rolling for just 4 days, protein vanishes completely. There is no backstock. There is no buffer. You must build your own reserve of diverse, shelf-stable proteins now, before the panic buyers sweep the aisles clean and leave you facing hunger with nothing but empty carbohydrates. 3. The forgotten binder, molecular energy reserves. There is a blind spot in almost every survival plan, a gaping hole that only becomes apparent when the stove is cold and the pantry is limited to dry grains. That blind spot is cooking oil. It is the invisible essential, the binding agent of civilization's diet, and it disappears with terrifying speed during distribution freezes. We saw this during the shortages of recent years, where cooking oil shelves sat empty for months, leaving families unable to prepare the very staples they had hoarded. Without oil, cooking becomes difficult, food becomes unpalatable, and you lose a critical source of dense caloric energy. But the danger here is twofold: scarcity and spoilage. Most households stock extra virgin olive oil, believing they are making a healthy choice. In a survival scenario, this is a mistake. Olive oil is fragile. It succumbs to oxidation and goes rancid in as little as 6 months when conditions aren't perfect. A rancid fat source is worse than useless. It is waste. The wise prepper pivots to the workhorses of the apocalypse: refined coconut oil and avocado oil. Refined coconut oil is a marvel of stability, capable of lasting up to 5 years on a shelf without refrigeration. Its resistance to oxidation makes it the gold standard for long-term lipid storage. Beyond the frying pan, it serves as a multifunctional survival tool, acting as a natural antibacterial ointment for wounds when medical supplies run low, or a base for salves. Avocado oil complements this by offering an incredibly high smoke point, allowing for cooking over open fires or high heat without degrading into harmful compounds. It acts as a preservative for cast iron and leather, extending the life of your other gear. But you must buy smart. Avoid the gallon jugs that signal value but invite spoilage the moment the seal is broken. Opt for smaller containers to keep your supply fresh and redundant. The whispers from the distribution centers are already starting. Limits on retailer orders are quietly being enforced. The public hasn't noticed yet, but the flow is being throttled. By the time the limit 1 per customer signs appear, the crisis is already underway. Oil is liquid gold in a collapsed economy. Secure your supply before the shelves are stripped bare and your meals turn to dust. 4. The resilient seeds, ancient grains for modern collapse. When the structures of society begin to groan under pressure, the first instinct of the unprepared is to hoard familiar comforts. They will strip the shelves of rice and pasta, leaving a wasteland of empty aisles. But there is a deeper truth they miss in their panic. The true measure of sustenance isn't in these empty carbohydrates, but in the ancient, resilient grains left behind. These are not merely health foods. They are survival engines, packed with dense nutrition, designed for long-term stability, and engineered for efficiency. During the initial shocks of 2020, I watched this exact scenario unfold. The masses descended upon the familiar, yet right beside the chaos sat bags of quinoa, millet, and barley, untouched and ignored. It was a lesson in herd mentality, a costly one for those who later found themselves paying triple the price when the supply chain finally caught up. It is a mistake that will not be repeated. Quinoa, often dismissed as a modern trend, is one of nature's few complete plant-based proteins, containing all 9 essential amino acids. In a world where protein sources have become ghosts, this single grain becomes a nutritional lifeline, vital for maintaining strength and cognitive function under duress. Beyond quinoa lies bulgur wheat, a humble grain with an extraordinary advantage: speed. It cooks faster than rice, a critical detail when fuel and water become currencies of their own. Its high fiber content is also essential for digestive stability when diets are restricted to non-perishables. Then there is barley, one of humanity's oldest agricultural allies, renowned for its ability to create filling, energy-sustaining meals from very little product. But perhaps the most overlooked hero is buckwheat. Functioning like a grain, it contains rutin, a compound that supports cardiovascular health, a silent benefit when access to medical care is a distant memory. The tragic mistake most people make is in storage. The thin plastic bags these grains come in are an open invitation to moisture, pests, and decay. I learned this when I discovered my emergency rice supply had become a writhing nest of weevils. The only true defense is to transfer these precious resources into mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, creating a tomb-like seal against the elements. The time to acquire these grains is now, while they remain unhyped and affordably priced. Distribution managers are already seeing unusual bulk orders, a quiet signal that the informed are moving. Build your arsenal one bag at a time, creating a diverse foundation of resilient grains before the panic buyers arrive, and find only empty spaces where stability once sat. 5. The ghost in the pantry. Elemental powders. There is a category of survival provisions that remains almost entirely invisible to the untrained eye, consistently underestimated until the moment of crisis reveals its profound importance. This is the realm of powdered essentials. While others focus on the bulk of canned goods and grains, they forget the simple foundational elements that make a meal more than mere sustenance. When the power grid fails and refrigeration becomes a memory, you will not miss the grand items first. You will ache for the ghost of milk for a child's cereal, the phantom of an egg for a morning meal, or the memory of butter to enrich a simple dish. These everyday components become priceless treasures, and their absence is a brutal, immediate loss. I once spoke with a family who endured a flood that cut them off for 3 weeks. Their startling admission was that their supplies of powdered milk and eggs ran out first, leaving their diet hollow and their morale fractured. This is because these powders are not conveniences. They are the bedrock of nutritional completeness and psychological comfort when the world outside has dissolved into chaos. Modern food science has resurrected these essentials from their chalky, unpalatable past. New microfiltered powdered milk tastes uncannily like the real thing, a transformation confirmed when my own children preferred it in a blind test. It is a consistent source of calcium and vitamin D, crucial nutrients when sunlight and fresh food are scarce. Powdered eggs have seen an even more dramatic evolution. Crystalline egg products now exist that are indistinguishable from fresh, offering up to 7 years of shelf life in a single, small container. That is 7 years of breakfast, of baking, of reliable protein waiting silently in your pantry. Powdered butter completes this trifecta, providing the fat and flavor needed to create comforting meals that maintain a sense of normalcy. The danger is that these items will be the first to evaporate when shortage rumors hit the news. Global production is concentrated in just a few regions, all facing logistical strain. A single plant shutdown is enough to trigger a cascade of scarcity. To prepare, you must secure a 1-month supply for each person in your household now. Integrate them into your cooking, learn their properties, and rotate your stock. These humble powders are the key to weathering a long-term disruption with your health and spirit intact. 6. The echo of normalcy: instantaneous meals and comfort foods. The common image of survival food is one of grim subsistence. Massive bags of beans and rice consumed out of necessity, not choice. This is a dangerous oversimplification. In the depths of a prolonged crisis, when the power is dead, the weather is hostile, and the world outside is unrecognizable, the ability to have a complete, balanced meal without effort is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. True survival is not just about caloric intake. It is about the preservation of energy, morale, and mental clarity. My sister learned this lesson during a brutal ice storm that paralyzed her city for 5 days. Trapped with her children in a powerless home, the only thing that kept them from venturing onto treacherous roads was a small stack of ready-to-eat meals that required only cold water to prepare. In that moment, convenience was survival. The human body, when subjected to extreme stress and cold, simply does not have the excess energy to prepare complex meals from scratch. Recognizing this, smart preppers have turned to modern ready-to-eat meals, and the demand is telling. Manufacturers are operating far beyond normal capacity and still cannot keep up, a pattern that mirrors the moments just before the 2020 shortages. Fortunately, today's emergency meals bear no resemblance to the bland rations of the past. Companies now produce genuinely delicious options, from pasta dishes to biscuits and gravy that can lift spirits in the darkest of times. This is not trivial. Studies have shown that food monotony in a crisis directly correlates with diminished problem-solving skills and emotional fatigue. Your mind requires variety as much as your body needs nutrients. Furthermore, for those with specific dietary needs, diabetic, gluten-free, or low sodium, relying on whatever can be found is not an option. Modern emergency food lines cater to these requirements, preventing health crises when medical help is unavailable. While specialty retailers are already hiking prices in anticipation of what's coming, mainstream stores have not yet followed suit. This creates a closing window of opportunity. The strategy is simple. Begin building a 2-week supply of diverse, ready-to-eat options. Include meals requiring hot water, those that rehydrate with cold water, and simple, heat and eat items. Do not forget comfort foods, cookies, puddings, flavored bars. These are not extras. They are anchors to normalcy, crucial for maintaining the emotional stability of your family. In the end, these meals become more than food. They are an echo of a life you intend to reclaim. You now possess the knowledge of the 6 grocery items that will vanish first when the illusion of stability shatters. The time for waiting is over. When the shelves are finally stripped bare and the headlines scream of shortages, the silence in your well-stocked pantry will be your only shield. Survival is not a contest of wealth or strength. It is a quiet race against time, and the starting gun has already fired. Build your reserves methodically, piece by piece, while the world still sleeps. Your future self will thank you for the foresight you show today. In an age of mounting uncertainty, the greatest power you have is the preparation no one else sees coming. Act now before the quiet panic turns into a deafening roar.